I'm Deidre DeFranceaux. This is Brigitte McMacker. We're at Sculpture Site Gallery with my installation, The Longest Reach.
Hello, Deidre. I'm very glad to have you here, and I'm really glad to have you in this exhibition here at Sculpture Site Gallery, Body Language 2.
I'm so excited to be here.
Very glad to have you here.
Yay!
I wanted you to tell us tonight what brought you to do the inflatables. What was the impetus for this body of work?
Actually, the inflatables have been an ongoing project for 11 or 12 years. It's been kind of my strange obsession. I had two bodies of work that kind of converged, and one was very pop and one was very emotional and serious. So I had created an imaginary product, which was the amazing Slim Suck home liposuction kit as seen on TV. It was posters for the art commission for Muni in the bus shelters. And it was very humorous, and it was sort of my outtake on our society's body images and then what that does to us as women, as purveyors of the media. And the idea is the amazing Slim Suck, frumpy to foxy in just 20 minutes, you know. Sally has a date, but she feels bloated. But don't worry, Sally. You just sit down in front of the television with your Haagen-Dazs and hook yourself up to the amazing Slim Suck. 20 minutes, you'll be fabulous and ready for your date. So it was to be a woman who became deflated to the point of being nothing but a skin with lips and eyelashes and hair and just nothing left of herself. But that's the societal ideal, you know. So I came up with this idea of this collapsing skin. Alternately, a parallel body of work was chronicling that I'm bipolar and have struggled with mood swings. Particularly in my youth, it was a huge struggle. Now, it's better. It's like so surfing, and I've learned to starting at 13. But it was not diagnosed for some time, and I didn't know what the deal was. But I had been trying to do paintings about these mood cycles, the highs and the lows, and you know the euphoria and the power, and it's so great, and then it's just the utter collapse, and again and again and again. And what I came to realize when I began making the skins, that actually this work was talking about something absolutely, utterly else that I was unable to describe in any other medium. And so the first show became called Rapid Cycling. And this is when, you know, your moods go up, down, up, down, up, down, fast, fast,
so rapid cycling is a medical term?
Absolutely. And that was the name of the first show. And indeed, the inflate, deflate were on 128-second timers, so they would go very, very quickly. And as the work has evolved, I've realized that so much of what it's about is this sort of Sisyphean struggle that we all go through. Always striving to attain something, striving to get somewhere, striving to improve ourselves, striving to reach for something, and always coming so close and never quite making it, but never giving up that struggle. So it sort of transcended just this mood thing to be more of an entire statement about perhaps yearning and will and impetus and refusal to fail. But the work has gotten subtler. Well, I mean, I say that, there's a bed here, but subtler for me. And slower, and still about the reach.
I did notice that.
Because I guess I'm maturing. And I wanted it controlled more. The figures have gotten more identifiable as individuals rather than this idea of person. I've begun to build actual personas with these people, and it's still the struggle, but it's less spastic and frantic and more moving, more relatable too. That, you know, it became more human. It became more human, a little more understandable to me, I think, for this particular show about yearning and love and reaching for something. It's never fast. It isn't. You know, the searching.
There is a continuum there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And there's something very, to me, in these figures, when they collapse, something very human and vulnerable about the slow pulling in and the slow building back. you know, so it's...
So there is also a building back of self-esteem and...
Oh, everything,
Right.
everything, and will and strength and determination. It's Sisyphean, like I said, you know, you never quite get there and you never stop struggling.
Tell me a little bit about the process of building these.
The process is absolutely obsessive.
Okay.
But
I have heard that you used to have leaks, so that has been...
Yes, I did, but then as well, I would, you know, puncture them all over the place and make secret hidden leaks.
Okay.
As they would overinflate, I would get them, so there might be a hole or two to start with. Now I've gotten so good at building the skins that yes, I did have one kind of explode. Whoop. So now I'm careful to at least give a couple punctures at certain places. So if I want the, you know, I want the head to go back, and I'll puncture right there so that I'll have that collapse or something like that. But basically, they're not casts. I create original plaster of Paris figure sculptures, you know, straight up from the armature, and
Are you using a model or?
No. I have people pose for me. Maybe I take photographs and think about it, or I have someone sit there and try. And my housemate Catherine, gosh, when I first started sculpting and I didn't know how to, I made the poor girl sit on a shelf for 3 months while I looked at her and felt her knees to try and make them right. But now it's maybe more emotional or conceptual. I create a plaster of Paris figure sculpture, slightly larger than life, so that there's a little impact.
Right.
And
Crucial.
then when I have my person, I create a latex and pantyhose skin on them that's quite thick.
You said pantyhose.
Yes, yes. Okay. And I've bought out Walgreens so many times. There are many queen-size pantyhose lovers who are hating me for taking the entire stocks. Pantyhose, in the beginning, my idea was something that gave and yet had strength and support, but it's kind of interesting building figures out of what I sort of considered sexual trappings. So latex and pantyhose, both, one is a very literal barrier, and the other is a little more figurative. But pantyhose, it's this idea of encasing in the properness of the female and what have you. So I make the skins, and then I flay them with razor blades, and I pull them off.
Right?
Yes, and then seal them airtight, and then they're set up to the compressors and the timers.
And you can reuse the molds.
I can, but I usually do limited editions on them. The series before this one was likening making artwork to giving birth. This whole idea of, you know, this gestation, and you feel awful, and it's hard, it's a struggle, and you'll barely make it through. So I had a figure that each successive 2 skins, I created more of a pregnancy until the final one, and she kind of rolled on the floor in labor. You saw that show.
Yes.
And yeah, part of them are in Berlin now, but part of them are here. So yeah, each time it's thematically different. This one was about yearning for soul connection and love, and this slight missing always.
Right. A bit of a disconnect there.
A bit of a disconnect.
Right.
We all reach for that one person, but that person's maybe interested in this other
Those 2 seem to be connecting all right.
Yes, but they never actually quite get there either.
Right.
Probably they will. Yeah, so there's some unrequited yearning there, and there's some fulfilled.
So where do you see your work going next?
All over the world, Brigitte. All over the world. No, I do.
Yes.
And, you know, I mean, I've had all sorts of ridiculous ideas. I see giant cranes in the city, and I want my, you know, 50-foot sculptures hanging up there and inflating, reaching for each other from alternate buildings across a skyline. And, of course, you know, having done these large Burning Man sculptures and public works, there's something exciting about that, engaging the public, and that's what's nice about this show is that I can do it very privately, make the work, but very much engage the public.
Right.
You know, this is a very public area, and so it's fun to see everyone's reactions. Some are excited and some are horrified. And
But being here in the window, it's
I
almost
knew
like being out
we'd
in
push some buttons.
Sure.
But that's sometimes fun, and you know, if art can't engage us a little bit, gosh.
Right.
Fun is it?
Sure. Well,
I think it's good for
we
people.
have you here.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I'm so delighted.
Right.
Thank you.